What's up, everyone? I'm Tamara, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Borderlines and narcissists can elicit strong emotions in those that they interact with. Oftentimes, people are unaware that the person whom they are communicating with on a regular basis has a personality disorder, so it can be confusing and hurtful. Everyone has defense mechanisms and things they do to feel safe and in control. We have all learned a variety of communication and friendship skills and ways in which we learn to talk to a boss or coworker or someone at the store. So, if a borderline or narcissist is having an intensely difficult emotional day and lash out on someone, it can be confusing to the recipient. Not only that, but people generally function in patterns. People usually know what will upset someone and will refrain from doing said action if at all possible, especially in regards to workplaces and friendships. An exception would be in a romantic relationship where emotions are intensified and you're trying to make a life with another adult who thinks differently than you while making big life decisions. However, most adults have a schema for how to get along with others and a set of rules, some of which are unconscious. And when an adult interacts with them in a way that flies against what they have learned is normal and appropriate, it is painful and throws them off sync. For example, both borderlines and narcissists can be sensitive to slights and sense that you were purposefully trying to shame them, embarrass them, hurt their feelings, and the person will have no idea what they did or said to make BPD or NPD so angry. So then they learn to walk on eggshells, to try to choose their words or glances more carefully, and it helps, but they still fall into traps that they weren't anticipating that get them confronted, attacked, or ignored for days. What's deemed inappropriate and insulting can be very different for a borderline or narcissist than for the average person. And the average person will not always understand the train of thought of BPDs and NPDs and can also feel deeply insulted and hurt. They are not speaking the same language. When borderlines become super needy, fearful of abandonment, what they are wanting or demanding from a non-borderline can also send that person into freak-out mode, nervousness, and make the person unable to think straight. Why haven't you called me every day? Why haven't you answered all my phone calls and texts? Where were you? Why are you out to get me? You're jealous because I'm getting attention for the things I'm doing and you're not. Borderlines will sometimes go to great lengths to keep from being abandoned, popping up randomly in places, flying into angry rages, refusing to speak even though you're sitting right beside them because they've disassociated or they're angry. This can keep the person who is friends with the borderline nervous and confused, feeling constant butterflies. Sometimes borderlines can't regulate their emotions or they don't understand their emotions, so they could come across like they're yelling or angry when they're really not. They may try to resolve things with a borderline or even try to save them or quiet their fears, but it seems the borderline's behavior intensifies with every attempt. At work, some of their interactions may be inappropriate or seem to have an ulterior motive. How can you meet my needs? If you solve the problem, then I can no longer need you when I'm freaking out. So I may reject a common sense resolution in favor of one that makes me seem incredibly needy. A person who is not familiar with BPD may fall into this trap and not cut things off. Instead, over-explaining, over-resolving, only to find that the borderline is not as quenched as another person would be, seeking more and more, doing less work to be constantly with the person they're trying to attach to. You almost have to fail a borderline so that they see you as someone who would not be a good choice to attach to. I remember years ago having a coworker who I believed to be a borderline. We stopped for lunch on our way home from a meeting, and she pretended not to have any money. Of course, I paid, in which she ordered a hefty amount and never paid me back. I passed the test, and she became increasingly and unnervingly clingy over time. Borderlines can make you feel like they feel, nervous, agitated, unsettled, and fearful. They can elicit a jumpy or "I want to run and hide from you" response. It's too much for most to bear because the borderline will seem to forego boundaries and interrupt and be overbearing and require far more personal needs to be met than the average person. As for narcissists, they can create a fear in people that resembles an earthquake, shaking and trembling. Avoiding the narcissist as much as possible is what people feel like doing. Again, there is a disconnect in communication, so narcissists often think the person they're talking to is dumb, ignorant, and beneath them, and they will let them know that. Who wants to be yelled at and talked down to when they are simply communicating a directive or reporting back on a task at work? The narcissist will expect you to read their unusual mind and how they think, which is quite often not the same as everyone else. You will miss in communication. They will accuse you of speaking a different language, and if they think you are weak and worthless, or you can no longer meet their unreasonable demands, they will treat you like a speck of dirt. The person with the disorder will treat you as though you are the one with the disorder. You will be unable to please them and begin to question yourself. Most people do not attack people in the same way that narcissists put people down on a constant basis. So, it's not uncommon that your average person will turn inward and begin to question things about themselves that they've always received accolades for. Suddenly, you're unattractive and have zero sense of style. Never change for a narcissist because they will always be dissatisfied with everything about you. They can make people feel like scum. Anytime anyone makes you feel uncanny about yourself or rubs you the wrong way, question it. Especially if you're not used to being treated in such a savage way and you don't assume that everyone is always out to get you. It's probably not you. It's the narcissist who needs fine-tuning, only they are so difficult that most people will never confront them, and the person who dares to will be labeled and twisted into a peppermint cane or a pretzel to everyone as the most heinous person in the world. We must remember that we cannot change others. We can only change ourselves, but we must also be loving and accepting of who we are because you are the only you there is. We can't change other people, but we can protect ourselves better and alter our responses in a way in which we are not completely giving ourselves away to someone who doesn't deserve it. Goodreads.com says, "You change others when you change yourself." No man has ever seen a turtle climbing the wall. In order to do the things which are impossible for you, you need to change yourself, and better still, transform yourself into something new. No one would ever try to make a kangaroo walk like a dog, so altering yourself for someone who is making you feel devastated about who you are is never a good idea unless you are in survival or safety mode in which you need to reach out for help to get out of the difficult situation. So if you are as fascinated by narcissists as I am, or you want to learn how to avoid their difficult behavior and deal with them, then you want to check out my book, The Workplace Narcissist, and I tell you everything I've learned about narcissistic people. And if you also want to find the love of your life and get your romantic life on track, then check out my book, Flip the Script on Love by Tamara Zyon on Amazon, and it will help to elevate your love life and make it what you want it to be. So let people know about my videos and share them with people that you think it will help. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.